Okay, so we're going to start as we usually do, lying on our backs in Shavasana. Make any adjustments so you can really surrender to gravity and then just drop down, drop into stillness. Start to drop in really to the present moment, to your body and to your breath. Feel the weight of the bones get a little bit heavier as time passes. It's like the body starts to feel that it's safe and that there's space to let go. And just notice with kind attention how the body has landed. So like for me, my two arms are sitting differently on the ground. And it's tempting to kind of follow the stories of like, oh, quote, my bad shoulder or something like that. So if you weren't, sorry to kind of bring that potential up. But instead, see if you can just greet what is arising with kindness and curiosity and really honor your signature shape. So all that brought you to this moment, all the ways your body has done what it could to create balance in your body, to support you and protect you. Notice your breath. And then we're just going to probably use a couple blocks today in class at the most, and we'll start with one block. So we'll plant the feet about hip width apart. And let's take a block on the medium setting, just above the knees. So on the thigh side of the knees, but not right at the knees, just above a little bit so you can get a good grip on the block. And then walk the feet away a little bit so they're not right under your knees. But let's find that triangle table. So the pubic bone and the two hip points, two frontal, the SIS are all level. We're going to keep that action, keep that neutral pelvis. Bring your hands to kind of the bottom of your rib cage. So the thumbs are in back, the fingers are in front, and it's a little scooping action. So it's not a big, huge movement, but what we're doing is lengthening the spine. So the thumbs shift the back of the rib cage up toward your head, and the fingers kind of help the front of the rib cage down toward your pelvis. So it's that motion with the hands, and it's a little scooping. Like you could walk your upper spine a little more away from your lower spine. So I don't know about you, but that feels nice in my back to get a little more length. Check back in. Sometimes we do that and we lose that triangle table, that neutral pelvis. So just really keep coming back to check that out. Because for most of us, many of us, I think, maybe most of us, it's not habitual to have that neutral pelvis. We're going to lift the toes, so we're rocking to the heels, the soles are up, and then keep the block squeeze, keep the toes up, keep the pelvis neutral, and lift the pelvis about a fist, maybe a little higher off the ground. Okay, and we're just here squeezing the block. I mean, I say just, we're working, but it's not a very, if someone were to look, it doesn't look like much. Squeeze the block and squeeze your glutes, really activating the buttocks muscles. When we lift the toes, we help the glutes work a little bit more to help the hamstrings out. Keep the pelvis up and lower the feet back down. Woo, I just felt my hamstrings kick into major action. Keep squeezing the block and squeezing the glutes. We're working a lot with posterior chain these days, and we're breathing. Try to feel each toe on the ground, the balls of the feet, the heels. And then lose the neutral pelvis, tuck the tailbone and see if you can articulate through your spine to come down. We'll keep the block between the thighs, but switch it to the narrow setting. Same basic location, just a little bit up relative to the knees. Finding that neutral pelvis again, can kind of walk the upper spine away, that's helpful. Interlace the hands behind the head at the bottom of the skull. And then keep the pelvis as it is. Let's press the sacrum down, just straight down, no tilt, straight down. And squeeze the block and engage your glutes. And then keep neutral pelvis and curl up. Elbows squeeze together. I'm trying to peel the shoulder blades up off the ground. Inhale down. And exhale back up. Every time you come up, you can take a look and be like, oh, my pubic bone popped up. I don't want that. Let's go a few more times. Inhale down at your own pace here. When you exhale and curl up, try to lift the shoulder blades a little bit more off the ground. The last one here. And then lower down. Remove the block. Take arms out to a T and feet wider, and just an easy windshield wiper of the knees side to side. If you want to make it more active, we push the inner edge of this foot into the ground, reach through the knee, and squeeze the glutes. Couple more times, make it feel good. Rotate your head opposite. Shoulders are heavy. Eventually make your way back to center. Bring your knees in toward your chest. And then just hug in here. So it's okay if the tailbone comes up. A little sway or a little circle. A little massage around the sacrum. Both directions. If you're circling one way, go the other way. And then spiraling back to center. You're going to keep the inner edges of the feet together and open the knees apart. Okay, so inner edges stay together, knees open. We're not going to do a regular crow on our hands, but we are doing one on our back. So arms stretch up toward the ceiling. The arms are to the inside of the legs. The wrists are flexed, so fingers pull back. And then press your arms into your legs and press your legs into your arms. If you want, lift your head, peel the shoulder blades up. Lower the upper body down, and then the arms, and let's straighten the legs for a moment. Dropping into stillness to witness. Okay, and then a reclined side crow. So we're not going to do arm balancing crow today either. We are doing it reclined, which is super valuable, I think, for really establishing some of the alignment without necessarily having the mega challenge. So knees in, This time the knees stay together and the feet stay together. And let's build it a little bit. So you can start with your arms out to a T, palms facing down. And then keep the shoulders down. We're not trying to get the legs all the way to the floor. Just a little, maybe like halfway-ish, halfway at the most, to one side. So it's spinal twist, small one. Inhaling back to center. And then exhale to the other side. Notice I'm not letting my knees drift away. I'm really tucking knees in and keeping the knees together. So if that's hard for you, if your knees are separating, get that block back in there so you can squeeze in. Let's go one more time, side to side. And then drop the knees over to the right side, just a little bit. Again, we don't want to feel like we're going to fall onto the right side. We're going to stretch the arms up toward the ceiling. Arms are straight, wrists are flexed, like we could plant our hands on the ceiling. Keep squeezing knees together. You could stay right here, or you're gonna lift the head, really peel the shoulder blades up off the ground. So if the knees are to the right, I'm bringing my right arm to the outer left knee, basically. Press the arm into the legs, press the legs into the arms. You can tuck the chin a bit. Lower the head down. Bring the legs through center. Might as well just keep the arms up. And then legs a little to the left. Keep squeezing knees together. Arms stretching up toward the ceiling. Like you could push the ceiling up more. So the shoulders are probably going to lift off the ground. Okay, stay here, or we're peeling the upper back up. See if you can bring this outer left arm to the outer right knee. Keep pushing through your hands, squeezing through your knees, tucking the knees in. Head down, come back to center, release the legs. Plant your feet again, not too close to your sitting bones. Find your neutral pelvis, triangle table. Kind of walk the upper spine a little away if that works well for you, and then keep your neutral pelvis. So hands on the pelvis is good to really just like keep yourself honest or to know what's really happening. Okay, so we keep the neutral pelvis, bring the knees in so they're about over the hips, and then without changing the pelvis, straighten the legs. So then if you go up to vertical, for some of us, we're going to lose that neutral pelvis. So keeping that little gap between the lower back and the floor, legs are up. Press the sacrum down. And then we're going to try to lower the legs a bit, not losing the neutral pelvis. I know I'm like a broken record, but it's so easy to lose that. So slow lower of the legs, just go as far as you can where you feel like, okay, I could stay here a little bit. Energy through the heels. And then when you find that place where any further you lose your alignment, you can stay there. You can add, interlace the hands behind the head and lift the shoulder blades up off the ground so elbows can come together. Energy through the legs. If it's too much for your back, knees are still bent or legs are higher up. Lower your head, lower your feet. And then from here, bend your knees and roll to your side. Let's come up to sit. We're not doing anything that I would call crazy today, just a strong basic class. So legs are out in front of you for Navasana, boat pose. Next stage is to plant the feet. I like to hold my thighs first, lift my chest. So I'm gonna avoid this tipping back or rounding. Next stage is to hover the feet. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you bring your shins parallel to the floor. Maybe you stretch the arms forward. Just lower the feet down and grab the block. You can do medium or narrow setting, whatever keeps the legs about hip width apart. Squeeze the block, lift the chest, tip back to hover the feet. Shins maybe parallel, arms extending forward, hug in. Lower the feet, remove the block, and let's come forward to all fours. So wrists directly beneath the shoulders and knees a little bit forward of the hips. We don't want them too forward, but just a little bit so they're not directly underneath the hips. Spread the fingers, root through each finger. And then let's try to do a few scapular push-ups. So the arms stay straight. The chest drops down toward the floor. And then we lift up through the upper back. Notice I'm not changing my pelvis at all. It's cat-cow just in the very upper back. Or if you know and like the terminology, it's retraction of the scapula and protraction. A couple more times here. Notice sometimes when we retract, the shoulders rise up toward the ears. So try to keep the shoulders where they are. You don't have to snug them down, but don't let them roll forward or roll up. Last one. And then, if it's available, keep your toes tucked under and sit back onto your heels. You could do this with toes untucked if this is just excruciating for you. Interlace your fingers. Press your palms forward. And then stretch the arms skyward. Keep your ribs, your rib cage in line with your hips, rather than letting it come forward relative to the hips. Reach through the arms. And let your arms float down through this ocean of energy. And then from here, either sit down onto your heels, toes untucked, or sit in Virasana. So in Hero, most likely you're sitting on a block between your feet. If your sitting bones get all the way down to the floor, you don't need the block, but a lot of us do. Okay. Just take a little time here, take what the time you need to get situated, make sure toes are pointing straight back so they're not turned in toward each other. Connect to your sitting bones. Connect to your breath. Garudasana or eagle arms. Stretch the arms out wide. And bring your right arm underneath your left. So one option is to bring your right hand to your left arm and draw it across. Or if you can cross more at the elbows, try for that. Elbows in line with shoulders. Elbows reach forward. Breathing here. Breathe into the back. And carefully release the arms, let your hands rest on your lap for a moment. Spread your wings. Bring your left arm under your right or whatever your second side is. So you can use your hand to bring the arm across or cross more at the elbows, wrap the arms around each other. You might not get that far. Maybe the backs of the hands connect instead, stretching the elbows forward. And try to have fingers and wrists straight. I often see a lot of kind of contorted hands, but it's better for the carpal tunnel to have that straight lengthening through the wrists. Make it more about your breath. Gently release your arms and pause. Gomukhasana arms. So you might want a belt for this. Sorry, I didn't mention that. Belt, scarf, it's not critical. You could use your shirt. And we'll stretch. We'll stretch right arm up and then turn the palm to face back and the thumb to face out. This is external rotation. Bend the elbow and then bring your left arm, palm down, thumb points back, down, bend the elbow, and see if you can join the hands. Let's try having the hands tug away from each other. And gently release. Pause. Stretch your left arm up or whatever your second side is. External rotation. So rotate, try to have your palm facing back and your thumb facing out. So not this way, this way. And then bend the elbow. Bring your right arm, thumb down, palm back, behind the back. See if you can get the hands close together. You can pull on the belt or your hands in opposite directions. Gently release your hands and pause. Let's come back to all fours. And then see if you can dial your hands slightly outward without actually moving them. So that's like kind of gripping action into the floor. Push the floor away and then just slightly soften through the chest. So we're not doming, but we're not sinking. We're in the middle. Okay, from here, toes are tucked under and we lift the knees just to hover. So like you could slide a piece of paper underneath your knees. Gaze is down, back of the head up toward the ceiling. So head is in line with the rest of the spine. From here, from your belly, lift all the way up to downward facing dog. Let's take small little steps forward. Knees can bend here. And then root down to your feet. Rise all the way up. And bring hands down to heart center. Samasthiti, standing with equanimity. Bring your awareness to the bottoms of your feet. Spread the toes. Root evenly through inner and outer edges of the feet. Maybe shifting a little bit more back into the heels. If you can sense if you're pitched forward. Really common for a lot of us to not even realize we're pitched forward. So bringing the weight into the heels, bringing the hips in line with the heels. Okay. From here, Vrikshasana, consider bringing hands to the hips. We shift the weight into the left leg without letting the left hip drop out to the side. So we're rooting, rising, coming up onto the right toes. Keep hugging this left hip in. Turn the knee out to the side. And then foot can go anywhere. Can go above the knee, can go below the knee. It really can even go on the knee unless you're applying a ton of pressure and your knee is weak. We do a lot more stuff that's a lot more impactful on the knees than this shape here. Let's see if you can reach that knee down and maybe stretch up through your arms. Try squeezing left glute. See if that changes anything for you. Calmly release the arms if they went up and the foot. Tadasana, mountain pose. Bring awareness back to the bottoms of your feet. Shifting a little bit back to the heels. Maybe it's the front of the heel. Feeling each toe connecting to the floor. Hands to the hips. Rising up out of the right leg so that when the left foot leaves the ground, the hip doesn't shift out at all. You can come up onto the toes. Keep rooting and rising through this right leg. Turn the knee out to the side and then place the foot. I like to have it place itself so it's active range of motion. Rather than the arm doing the lifting, the leg is lifting itself. If and when you feel ready, you can stretch the arms up. Foot can press into the leg presses back into the foot. You might feel more stable if you activate your right buttock muscle. Calmly releasing the arms, the end of the foot. Make your way to the top of your mat. In Samasthiti, standing with equanimity. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift about halfway. And then step back to plank. Let's push the floor away, dial the hands out, strong through the legs. The back of the head might push up a little bit. It's not a chin lift, chin is slightly tucked. Okay, and then see if you could do those same scapular push-ups, just like 3 times maybe. So arms stay straight, the shoulder blades retract and protract. Retract and protract. One more time. And then really protract and lift up from the belly to downward facing dog. You can directly step forward or intentionally raise the left leg into 3-legged dog. Shift forward, tuck the knee in, place the foot between the hands. You might want your block here coming towards triangle, so spin the back foot down and rise up. Legs are straight. Let the hips shift back. It's a tilting action out over the front leg. And then a rotation through the spine. And maybe a stretch through the arm. Let's adjust gaze down, but keep taking this top shoulder back. Try squeezing back glute. What does that change? From here, let's go directly to half moon, Ardha Chandrasana. Hand back to the hip, bend into your front leg. Maybe let's use the block at first, and then we'll see if we can play to use it less or not at all. So block forward, shifting onto your front foot, extending back through the back leg. Your grounded foot's not going to move, but imagine you could dial it outward like ballet turnout. Okay, and then if you want to use the block less, you can go lower on the block, but it's not because I'm rounding or collapsing to face the floor. It's just a deepening of this bottom hip crease. So I'm still having shoulders stacked and hips stacked, woo, and big toe down, hopefully. Okay, so if you're facing the floor with your chest, I would definitely do higher setting and work on facing out in front of you more. Balance today, a little bit fun. But if you can keep that stack and go lower, it's deepening of the hip crease. Gazing down helps with balance too. This top shoulder keeps going back, back, back behind you. Oftentimes when we look to the floor, the shoulder rolls forward. And then definitely look down. Start to reach the aerial foot way, way back till lands, hands down. Step back to plank pose. This time, let's lower the knees down. Don't drop your head here. That's really common misalignment. So chin slightly tucked, back of the head moving up, lowering down. All the way down. Inhale to cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. Okay, you could do a direct step forward or first an intentional three-legged dog. So it's slow, mindful. I'm reaching through the leg as it rises up. As you shift forward, hug the leg in. See if you can place the foot between the hands. And then if you're working with a block, you can just put it as the outside of your front foot. Spin your back foot down and rise up. Just take a moment to feel into your feet. And then our action is a deepening of this front hip crease, just like we found perhaps for that half moon. So there's not a rounding, it's a tipping, and the hand coming down to the height of the block that keeps this underside elongated. Turn through your torso, let the hips be where they are, and then maybe stretch up through the arm. Keep taking this top shoulder back and try looking down. See if anything changes if you engage your back buttock muscle, your back glute, the left glute. Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. Bring your hand to the hip, bend the front knee. Bring the block initially high setting out in front of you. See, I'm kind of reaching for it. And then walk, shift, however you can, get that back foot off the ground. And before you try to go deeper, closer to the floor with this bottom hand, try to rotate, just like you did for triangle. And yeah, we externally rotated the bottom foot. So it's not doing it's not moving visually, but imagine you could turn this grounded foot outward, like ballet turnout. That's external rotation really from the hip. And then we rotate up toward the ceiling. Keep that big toe down. I don't know why that's so hard for me today. Lots of energy through the aerial leg. And then it's just a way to explore. It's not the goal necessarily, but maybe deepening your hip crease. So it's that same hinge action. Wow. Same hinge action. You want to go lower on the block. We keep rolling, rotating the torso toward the ceiling. Maybe the arm comes up. Can turn gaze down to help with balance, but keep taking this top shoulder back behind you. Slowly, carefully. Please don't rush. Can always catch up. Making your way back to plank pose. Okay, you can lower knees down first or not. We're trying to keep this plank shape. Keep drawing your elbows back as you lower. All the way down for cobra. Hands aren't moving, but they're dragging back. Chest forward, shoulders down. Gaze down. And then from your low belly, or from your hip crease, rising up, downward facing dog. Take smaller steps. Forward, knees can bend. Coming into standing forward bend. And catch the wave of an inhalation to rise all the way up. And bring hands, palms together at heart center. Release your arms down by your sides to Tadasana, mountain pose. Connect to your breath. Connect to your feet, the bottoms of your feet. Once again, spreading the toes. You might take a look down. You might not be aware that one foot is turned out relative to the other. So just take a look. Try to orient the feet evenly for our next standing balance, which is Garudasana, eagle pose. So let's begin with the hands on the hips. Let's draw upward out of the standing leg. And then lift the other knee up. So one option is to come into this figure 4 shape. That's more accessible. Or really bend into the standing leg and wrap the top leg around. Okay, weights more into the back heel. I've got this chair pose element. Hips can go a little further back and down. Squeeze the thighs together. Hands can stay on hips if you want to focus on the balance, or we have that same eagle arm shape. Actually, yes, let's do eagle arms. So whatever leg is on top, opposite arm goes on top. Or if that's not for you, bring your elbows together and bring your hands together. Either way, press the arms into each other and breathe in to your upper back. With control, release the arms, release the leg. Coming back to mountain pose. Slow, steady breath. Okay, second side. Really connect to the foot that's going to stay on the ground. Hands to the hips. Transferring the weight into the standing leg without the hip coming out. So rising upward, push, root, and rise. You can either bring the ankle just above the knee for this number 4 shape. Or either way, either choice, it's good to bend the standing leg. We close the gap between the thighs. Squeeze the thighs in toward each other. Weight is a little bit more in the heel without losing the big toe connection. Maybe hands stay on the hips, or if it's better for you to not wrap the arms around each other, elbows together, hands together, elbows are at shoulder height. Press the elbows into each other, press the hands into each other, maybe wrapping the arms around each other. Whichever leg is on top, it's the opposite arm on top. And then really hug in here and breathe into your back. Calmly releasing all the way back to mountain, at the top of your mat. Slow, smooth breath. Okay, we're gonna do a little work with Warrior 3. So you might want to have your blocks at the highest setting at the top of your mat. Setup just feels wonky today. Maybe that's why my balance is off. Okay, so blocks are just in front of your mat. So they're not obstructing your grip on the mat. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale to fold forward. Hands can come to the blocks or not. I'm just stopping into Uttanasana. Inhale, lift halfway. Plant your hands. Walk back to plank pose. And now, from here, hold your plank shape. Just untuck your toes. Push the floor away, dial the hands out, engage the glutes, all the same alignment over and over again, all the same engagement, I should say. Untuck or tuck the toes under and lift your hips, downward facing dog. You can step forward directly or with intention, left leg rising up and back to three-legged dog. Hips are staying level here. As you shift forward toward plank, bring the knee in, keep the hips high, place the foot between the hands, or help the foot between the hands. Hands then to the blocks, highest setting. You're reaching for them, they're out in front of you. Push the grounded foot into the floor to come up to balance. Super, super common is for this right hip to lift up, but we already did that. We already did half moon. So we dial that aerial hip down until the pelvis is level. Bring your rib cage in line with your hips. Active reach through the back leg. Option to stretch the left arm forward. If right leg is reaching back, left arm reaches forward. Gaze is down, so chin slightly tucked. Back of the head up toward the ceiling. Option to extend both arms. Reaching from your center. Bring the hands back to the blocks if they left them. Reach the foot way back to land lightly. Step back to plank pose. Stay here or untuck the toes, holding your plank shape. Glutes are really, really active here. See if you can kind of tuck under with your glutes. Lower the hips a little bit, just a little bit at a time. As you do, chest moving forward. Imagine you could drag your hands back toward your feet and outward. Hands externally rotating. Lift your hips, tuck your toes, downward facing dog. Can do a direct step forward or first loading the right leg, reaching intentionally to three-legged dog. As you shift forward, hug the knee in, hips stay high, foot plants between the hands. Hands to the blocks, highest setting. Shift into the front foot. And then notice if the hip popped up. Bring it down to level the hips. Standing leg could be bent. Energy through the aerial leg. Ribs in line with the hips. Pelvis staying level. Maybe extending the right arm forward. So whatever leg reaches back, opposite arm reaching forward. Maybe both arms reaching forward. Chest is still reaching forward. Return your hands to your blocks. Step back to plank. Untuck your toes. Working in stages. You can stop anywhere along the way. Tuck under, tuck the tailbone under, booty under. Hands are dialing outward, hands are dragging back, chest is coming forward. Hips are lowering a bit. Tuck toes, downward facing dog. Let's separate the feet about hip width apart and walk the hands back to standing forward bend. Knees can bend here, that might be a nice idea, especially if you're rounding a lot. So we still want chest to stay open. Okay, so from here, walk your hands forward and then bring your knees down. I'm just gonna retrieve and move the blocks to the back of the mat. And you could get by with just one if you're okay having your feet together in down dog. So low, wide setting. If you like to have your feet wider, you can put them end to end. Okay. So simple setup for the block here. Tuck toes under on the block if you're able. Okay, and then lift up to a short down dog. It's maybe a little scary getting in, and then you realize like, oh, no problem, I got this. So I'm in a short dog and I'm elevated. If you're not in a short dog, get into a short dog, okay? So there's no way I'm gonna come forward to plank and have my hips in line. My dog is short. My heels are up. And lift the heels even more and shift forward so your shoulders are over your wrists. Look down between your hands. Push the floor away with everything you've got. And imagine you could screw your hands into the floor away from each other. Lower the knees down. You can simply take a rest here in child if you like, or we're gonna repeat with the block where it was, or we're gonna try to bring the block up to a higher setting. So it's on the mid setting, it's on the mid wide setting. I did say we weren't gonna do anything crazy. This is as crazy as it's gonna get. So be really short here if you can in your positioning. Keep an eye on your feet if you're a little worried about it. If it feels like the platform's not big enough, you could do end to end. You could do the blocks against the wall, would feel even safer. Okay, so your start could be this short dog, and then again, we're shifting the shoulders to stack over the wrists. Hips are staying up. Lift your heels up. Dial the hands outward, push the floor away, push the floor away, push the floor away. You can step off the block. Lower the knees down. Child's pose. Bring your arms alongside your body, still in child's, and just circle out the wrists. Switch directions, really describe a full circle. You can just kind of do it willy-nilly and not get much out of it, or you can do it more intentionally and benefit more. And then grab your block. You might be able to just grab it from behind your feet. We're gonna bring the block out in front on the low setting, low wide setting again. So my whole hand is gonna be on the side of the block, and the outer edge, I'll call it the blade, I like to call it the blade of the hand, is gonna be on the floor. I'm still in child's pose, still nothing crazy here. So fingers point forward, and the arms are straight. You can bring your head down, and then just kind of push into the block a little, and then without moving the block, isometrically drag the block back toward you. So the iso means there's not movement, but there's intention. The blades of the hands are pressing down and kind of, but not really dragging back. And then press more into one hand. So outer edge of the hand pressing down and isometrically dragging back. And then other side, more emphasis. And then back to center. You can relax that effort. Maybe let the elbows bend and drop. Last couple breaths into the back. From here, let's try to roll up. So before you start moving, this means the head is going to come up last, and the arms are heavy, and so they're just going to kind of dangle and drag along the floor. So bringing awareness to the sacrum, and you've got lots of vertebrae, so this should take at least a little bit of time. So start to tuck the tailbone under, head is heavy, moving through the sacrum, and then your spine is probably going to want to move as a unit. So see if you could just visualize one vertebra, the next, there's 5 lumbar vertebrae. It's usually the hardest place it is for a lot of us to round. Hands are just dragging back. Now I'm working through the mid spine. And then eventually the chest is rising, the shoulders are dropping, the head rises. Place your hands on your thighs and just be here for a moment. Okay, and then when you're ready to move again, you can lie on your back. You might want to have your blocks handy. You might not want them, but then you don't have to get up again. I call it taking care of future self. It's a good practice in many ways. So lie on your back, feet planted wide, arms out to a T or cactus if you don't have the room. And then drop the knees over to the right side. Really let this right leg go. Keep the left shoulder heavy. And now let's work a little bit more with the left leg. So we push the left foot into the floor. Do it and then like see what that ignites or awakens. Like what happens when I push my foot into the floor? Add the reach through the knee away from you. Keep pushing the inner edge of the foot into the floor, and then add engagement of this left glute. Last option here is to stretch the left arm alongside the ear. Working the stretch from the left knee all the way up the lateral body to the arm and the fingertips. Last couple breaths. It may be a big back bend feels good, but if you feel like your hips could use more attention, drop the ribs down and try to lift and reach through the hip a little bit more. And then eventually bring that left arm down. Slowly drop the knees over to the left. Feet are wide here. Go as wide as the mat pretty much. Let the left leg drop completely. And feel the right shoulder especially not lifting up. Shoulders heavy and relax. And then push the inner edge of the foot into the ground. And try to go slow applying these engagements so you're really in the movement, not just doing the movement. So inner edge of the foot pushes into the ground. I'm driving the knee forward. That ends up lifting the hip quite a bit, potentially. And right glute active. And then maybe extending the right arm. Reach knee in one direction and really slide the arm away from you in the other direction. You can slide the arm down, release, bring the legs back to center. And then bring the feet together, knees apart, Supta Baddha Konasana. This is where you might like blocks underneath your outer thighs or outer knees. We can strain the sacral ligaments sometimes if there's too much happening in this shape. Let's make that rib adjustment again. So the fingers are on the front bottom of the rib cage. The thumbs are on the back. And the motion is fingers away from you, thumbs toward you. Getting the upper back a little further away from the lower back. And the spine can do it itself, but it's nice to have that assistance from the hands. Sometimes we can get a better feel of it. And then arms resting at your sides, palms up. Let's take 1 to 3 sighing exhales. So big breath in through the nose and then sigh it out through the mouth. Maybe one more time, maybe twice more. And then let the breath be natural. If this posture is feeling really nurturing and supportive for you, you can stay here in Shavasana. If you're feeling a big stretch, then I would definitely recommend, if you want to stay in this shape, please support your thighs, because this we're really trying to do as little as possible. We're not trying to make anything happen now in Shavasana, which technically is the shape with the legs straight. Right, it's not just whatever pose we choose at the end. So the Shavasana is an asana. And you can certainly orient in a belly down shape, Shavasana, belly down, or on your side as your final resting position. Drop into a state of non-doing and rest. And come back into the river of breath. Moving and stretching. If you feel ready to reawaken your physical body. Eventually making your way up to a seat. And let's bring hands, palms together at heart center. Bowing our heads with gratitude for all the gifts we've been given. Particularly this precious human existence. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Thank you.